Welcome to Comics League Dark and slash movie night. I am Jared. I'm here with Jay Heat. What's up, brother?
Flame on. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good. Okay, so the way we're gonna do this is gonna be a hybrid episode. We're gonna be doing movie night and CLD in one stream. So we're gonna start with movie night. And okay, let's talk about the reign of the Supermen.
Let's get the positives out of the way. It's better than Superman Doomsday.
Death of Superman was better than Superman Doomsday. Let's compare apples to apples, dude. But my issue with this movie, and Britt'll back me up on this if you're watching. And what's up, Brown Short? How you doing, my brother?
What's up?
All right. Excuse me. This movie goes out of its way to bash stuff that came beforehand that was more popular, but it's like it's all of a sudden like Wonder Woman saying, "Oh yeah, Superman belonged with you all the whole time," and I'm like, "What?" And what's up,
Are you that mad you didn't get an on-screen breakup or a tie-in of any kind?
Because I'd save that for last week's discussion of Death of Superman. But the problem with this, to be clear, yeah, the Super Wonder thing pissed me off, but you know what pissed me off even more is how DC was super petty about it. And they were like, "Oh no, he was always supposed to be with Lois Lane." I'm like, no.
Okay, I will play devil's advocate because I'm not a big Super fan, but if we're gonna go off context, since DeCamu was New 52 inspired for the most part, even if you did factor all of that, it still doesn't change the fact that Death and Reign is a Lois, or specifically Reign, is a Lois Lane story for the most part.
Because in Death, she just shows up at the end to hold Superman.
That's what I'm saying. You could still have Super Wonder in Death of Superman, and hardly anything changes from a narrative.
That was my issue. That was my issue too. Because here's the thing, Jay Heat. Again, say what you want about Superman Doomed in the New 52, it at least told more or less that story in a new way.
Pretty much, I will give you that. It did give me Death and Reign of Superman vibes.
Because it's like the exact same thing over and over again. I hate that. But, all right, Connor Kent was awesome in this movie. He is one of the highlights in this. I will give you that. I freaking love Connor Kent in this movie.
The real Connor Kent, not the overly angsty Jeff Johns version from 03.
No. This one was... I would prefer if they took this attitude and gave him the t-shirt and jeans, but I'll take this. This was great. I love this. And Steel, and it's kind of funny, Jay. I watched the movie again for the first time in a while, and you know what popped in my head as he was suiting up? I am. Oh, yeah. That's pretty much what he is.
Oh man, God, you gotta love that cartoon.
Yeah. Wait, which movie showed Superman versus Doomsday?
Well, Death and Superman Doomsday.
He said better. That is definitely Death. That is
I gotta give it to DeCamu. Now, I am a fan of original source material, especially in terms of adaptations, but Superman Doomsday was such a rush job. Jesus Christ.
No, what I'm talking about, Tavia, is that story was basically, for the most part,
similar.
It had the beats of that story. That was their version of that story. They told, because let me put it this way, if Superman turned into Doomsday permanently, he would have died. Because if you want to talk about this in a metaphysical sense, geez, I can't talk, I'm tired. He would die. So what that did was, and this is why I absolutely love the New 52. I'm going to keep emphasizing this. I think I've made it pretty obvious. I love the New 52. It told these stories in new ways. So it was like, okay, this is badass now.
Okay, if you really are curious,
saying the same story over and over and over again, it gets stale after a while, right, Jay Heat?
That is true. Stagnation is a factor. But if you actually are curious about a Super Wonder Death of Superman story, check out God Killer 2 on the channel.
Because we did it way better than DC ever wished they could. He killed a Hawaii Connor Kent. That's actually really good. I love that. Shame Super Doom didn't have the other Superman. It did. It had Cyborg Superman. A version of him. It wasn't Hank Henshaw. I think it was Supergirl's father or uncle. It was either father or uncle.
I want to say it was her father.
The point is, he was related to Supergirl. He was Kryptonian and all that stuff. I think that's why they reinvented Mr. Freeze for Batman the Animated. Yeah, exactly. Now, that is the one thing that
even when I gotta say this, even when B-Taz was in syndication, that version of Mr. Freeze wasn't considered canonical or incorporated into main comics until the early 2000s, roughly around the same time as Harley Quinn was.
Now, to be fair, Ian, that is the one character that at first the new 52 royally screwed up. When they changed the origin from Mr. Freeze from the B-Taz one to this, I was like, no. When they made him a crazy stalker, no.
Wait, didn't I forget his name, but didn't that one writer in the One More Day anthology with all of Batman's rogues take that same template?
Jerry Dugan, yeah. But that was after they were married. Freeze wasn't even married to Nora in the new 52. And by the way, he was Supergirl's father. But yeah, that's my point. Okay. So they had Cyborg in there. The character of Superboy didn't really play that much of a role. I think Kara was really taking over that role there. The new 52 screwed up. Well, yeah. They did screw up these two characters. Not everything was perfect, but I'm just saying mostly it was good.
Another cheap plug. Check out New Direction Young Justice.
Exactly. We do that way better. But so that's my problem with this movie and DC at this period. It seems like they were overly vindictive.
A little bit.
A little petty. It came off as really petty. Well, my point is, Tavia, you don't. They told the soul of that story, which is Superman dies, comes back, and saves the world. That's the soul of the story.
By the way, Eradicator did play a role, both in a post-credit scene where he takes Clark's body to the rejuvenation cycle and in Reign. So Eradicator does play a role.
He means in Superman Doomed.
Eradicator had no business in Superman Doomed. That's the reason he wasn't included.
Yeah, they don't have to tell, and that's my point, Tavia. They don't have to tell the story, carbon copy the exact same way with the exact same characters. You could tell the same story, because here's the story of the death and reign of Superman. Okay, Superman dies, air quotes.
He's resuscitated, basically. Ends up in a solar rejuvenation coma for 6 months.
People take over the role of Superman, and then Clark comes back. That happened in Doomed.
And a subplot where a Mongol blows up Coast City and we get Parallax, but that's besides the point.
That's the aftermath about that story. But
okay.
But this was my issue. And this was actually kind of a funny thing of when I was watching the Superpower documentary, as I was so PTSD from this that when they were talking about the new 52, I was gripping my chair like, oh boy, here it comes. They're going to blast the new 52 and say, well, we went too far. That wasn't what it was supposed to be. Nope, they completely ignored Rebirth. That was the funny part. I'm like, they treated it like Rebirth didn't even happen.
And there's nothing really wrong with Rebirth. It's just the fact that it was some stuff.
Britt and I are going to really tear that thing apart in this upcoming Super Wonder Legacy. By Brown Destroyer asked, my question is, if it's not Wonder Woman, then why not someone else? Why Superman has to go back to Lois Lane? It's annoying.
I'll go ahead and tackle this one. Basically, they knew that the new 52 template, or at least synergy for it, was dying out. This was like 2015, 2016. And there were classic storylines the higher ups were going to want to adapt anyway. So Tucker and the team just made the best out of a bad situation.
Well, here's the thing. It actually was not they were tuckering out. What happened was DC started paying attention to what people on Twitter said. And it's long been said that these people don't read comics. Ipso facto, they thought that they were catering to the larger audience. Boy, were they wrong. Because remember, Dan DiDio made it a rule at DC when he was president saying, don't pay attention to anything Twitter is saying. He sometimes violated that rule, but for the most part, he was like, we're not taking Twitter into account. Twitter is not an indicator. In fact, even Mark Millar was like, 5% of the audience is active on Twitter. Why are you catering to 5%? If that. Exactly. Also, Mongol. Speaking of Cyborg Superman, how do you feel about? I like Cyborg in this movie too. See, there are some good stuff about this movie. Again, I think that was intentional sabotage.
It was,
because there's no reason to do that. That's why it was doing well, and then they did DCU and sabotage it. Because the way I see it, they wanted an excuse to throw it away, because you also had writers that were overly nostalgic, like Dan freaking Jurgens, who can't write anything Superman related that doesn't link to Death of Superman. And he was like, I don't want to write this. I want to write about Superman the way I remember him. And then
To be fair, his contributions to Death and Reign of Superman is Jurgen's magnum opus. That is,
but it's
you
just
can't take that from him.
No, but that's when you read his Superman stuff after that, he always references that. And by the way, Britt, welcome, Britt. Nothing was dying out. It was just backpedaled, which the DO admits out of laziness and scared of new things. Yeah, exactly. If they had just if they had just stayed the course and not done DCU, they would still had that growth going on.
Basically, we would have gotten Rebirth to an extent, but it wouldn't have been nowhere near as drastic.
You would have had some things course corrected. You would have definitely had some stuff course corrected, but not as severe as we saw it. But Tavia, just because he gave you that one thing doesn't mean, by the way, that also is linked to the death and return of Superman.
I feel like you would have gotten John Kent regardless.
Well, actually, no, because here's the thing. Convergence also would not have happened, because the reason why they brought back the real Superman is because the idiots on Twitter were complaining. That's why. The real Superman, who, to quote Britt, they clearly haven't read, they clearly didn't read the New 52 Superman, because he has this reputation of being an a-hole. He's not. He's literally Golden Age Superman.
Come on, not even Golden Age Superman was that much of a twat.
Yes, he was. Yeah, oh, yes, he was. Yes, he was. Britt, am I right? Am I right, Britt? Teen Titans, yes. Again,
that was bad.
Everything was good. I will not defend that. But there was more good books than bad books.
I reread that when we were doing New Direction Young Justice. Yes, I'm still plugging. But even when we did New Direction Young Justice, I had to rewatch that run. And it is not better on a reread.
Silly Girl says, always take Twitter commentary feedback with a grain of salt and not seriously for a direct. Yeah, exactly. You can look at it kind of to see what the overall discourse is, but DC has demonstrated since Rebirth started that they are wholly dependent on what Twitter says, and look at the state that they are in as a company.
Now, this is just a theory of mine. Take this with a grain of salt, people, but this is just a theory of mine. They realized the Rebirth too easy, but they realized the Rebirth sales were stagnating. They saw what Marvel was doing. They chased the headline. That's why we got all the 5G stuff. Now, if 5G was strictly at Elseworld, no one would have cared. Let's be honest. But that pretty much crashed and burned within the span of 6 to 7 months. You course corrected and repackaged it as future state, and you didn't even get that off the ground properly. You condensed it in a 2-month span to kick off the fiscal year. And really, it just we're still backpedaling to this day.
And by the way, Ian, if you want a fusion of Justice League and the New 52 continuity, check out New Direction Verse. We literally did that. But and by I think people forget Convergence was also a way for DC to cover their asses when the move. Yeah,
that is true.
That is true. Though I'm saying that creative choice of bringing in the real Superman was because they were paying attention to what Twitter said too much. That is
a factor. That is a factor. I will give you
it was a factor. If they left that out, Convergence is undefendable, but they could have left that out and just left the event, and they would have had a better argument for that. But I'm like, no, well, absolutely not. The whole thing is like nostalgia bait. If they brought back the New 52 Elseworld entirely, I bet they would sell more than anything. As the DC's Ultimate Universe, yeah, it would actually, because guess what you would get? And this is why when Jay Heat and I did the New Direction, we kept as much of both as possible, because you give the people freaking options. If now for the people that like all that convoluted classic stuff, there's a line for you. For the people that really fell in love with DC because the New 52 was down and gritty, basically Snyderverse, there's a line for you. Everyone is welcome. When you shoot one in the foot, guess what that communicates to your audience? They are not welcome at your company. And guess what I think the past 5 or so years proves to you, you do not want to limit your audience like that. I'm sorry, Jay, go ahead.
One, you just described basic marketing and business management 101. So I will applaud.
I don't even have a bit. I was a political science major. I wasn't a business major.
How
do I know this? Well, yeah, here's the thing. Wait a second. I run a YouTube channel. Not once have I ever said this portion can't watch my content because I disagree with their takes. No, as long as you're nice about it, watch my stuff. I don't care if you agree with me, as long as you enjoy my stuff.
That's all anybody can ask for on YouTube.
Tevi is trying to wheel us back to the movie. Any opinion?
Hold on, just very quick. I
Go
gotta say this. Even when we were planning New Direction, and I am planning a video commenting on DC's alleged new Ultimate Universe, this is like the third time DC has technically ripped this off.
Yeah, the third time they have tried to do this. If they pull it off, well done, sir. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of room for error, particularly with Marvel bringing back their Ultimate Universe. But still,
now that's just nostalgia bait. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that is a question. Any opinion on Cyborg Superman working with Darkseid? Because for me, I think that plot point is really confusing. I like it because it explains Cyborg Superman, and remember, Darkseid is the central antagonist throughout this universe. And when we talked to Sam Liu, he said that at this point they knew they were going to end it, so they had to build toward Apocalypse War. So they needed some way to get Darkseid back involved. And that's why, like, the post-credit scene of this is Superman saying, we're going to go kill Darkseid. And that's it. And by the way, Tevia says, I always maintain the New 52 should have been DC's Ultimate Universe. Yes, thank you. That way, you can have both. That's what really astounds me. Because here's the thing, Jaheep. Which company invented the frickin' multiverse?
DC.
And they're not using it. That is what does it say that Marvel is making a better use of the multiverse than DC is? And that says a lot.
To be fair, the DC Elseworlds brand was shut down a few years ago. They're starting to
shut down. They still did Elseworlds books. Come on.
Yeah, but the official label for DC Elseworlds was shut down about 10 years back.
Yeah, because they traded Elseworlds for Black Label, because that's pretty much what it was. Because the current Peter Parker storyline sucks, that's why they're bringing back Ultimate Spider-Man. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a reason for it. I really wouldn't at this point. I really wouldn't. Particularly if they're putting him, if they're making an adult Peter Parker, which I think actually is a good idea, because you can tell, because that's a new dynamic when he gets powers. But that's cool. But I wouldn't be surprised if that's why they're doing it.
And I speak no ill will for Zeb Wells. He's really making the best out of a bad situation.
He has written fantastic stuff.
I'm not going to say Zeb Wells is a bad comic. I'm not going to say that.
He's not a bad writer.
No, he's no Tim Sheridan. He's not god awful. But even so, editorial has fundamentally screwed this man over to where he's literally screwed if he does it, he's screwed if he doesn't. Me personally, I would have left the book in protest. Like, I am not taking the heat for this.
I'm not taking the heat for your crappy decisions, Marvel. See ya.
And your spite, because you had the most momentum for the character in a good minute with Nick Spencer's run. He leaves for Substack because you weren't paying and commissioning good enough royalties, so you pretty much make a trashy Super Spider-Man run and pretty much stain the character on the anniversary on the death of Gwen Stacy out of spite.
By the way, did you see what Mark Millar was proposing to get people to work for these companies anymore? Is that they have to offer them...
I read the article.
Yeah, it was a fantastic discussion because because Mark Millar said they should offer these guys half and half for royalties. You don't have to give them exorbitant page rates. Give them at least that.
Or the very least proper credits for movies and adaptations.
Yes, particularly if you're going to adapt this stuff, because I got news for you. Brubaker got practically nothing for Falcon Winter Soldier.
Nope.
And the reason why there's a Winter Soldier is because of him.
Yep. And fun fact, Brubaker's Winter Soldier and Under the Red Hood were published around the same time. I think a year apart.
That is really funny. I love when there was that rule that like 3 characters can never come back to life. Uncle Ben, Bucky, and Jason.
The Waynes.
And then guess what happened? All 3 of them technically came back to life because of Spider-Verse. So, Brown Destroyer asked, will James Gunn's cartoons have any viewership? I don't think that normies would watch it. No, I don't think so. Because, and by the way, I guess, so overall, I give the Reign of the Superman movie a 6 out of 10. It's still enjoyable. Actually, no, I'll give it a 7 out of 10 because there's a lot of fun action in it. The action alone is good. I will take off 3 points for the Lois Lane love, but that's it. So now we're going to do, but basically what we're doing now, we're going to do a general Q&A. Ask us whatever questions you want us to answer, and we'll do it. So we'll start with this. I don't think so because the general audience sees, and by the way, our boys here. What's up, Nick?
Hello.
So we're just doing a general Q&A about this. You missed the rant about the reign of Superman, but we'll stick with this. But
sorry, I was doing another stream. It was really successful. So
no,
I was like,
it's all good, dude.
I had 10 people in the chat. And I didn't want to end it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. But so Brown Destroyer asks, and actually, Nick, since you just came in, I might as well ask you this first. Will James Gunn's cartoons have any viewership? I don't think that normies would watch it, so it would probably fail at the beginning of the Gunverse.
No.
In terms of, what do you mean by
hardcore?
No. Will they have viewership? No. Like,
yeah,
I'm just trying to be funny.
Because here's the. And I 100% agree with you, Nick, because here's the thing. The general audience sees animation, unfortunately, as below live action, which they shouldn't, because as we all know, and it's just another medium. This is the same thing with like comic books being seen as not real books. But the thing is, unless you're like a hardcore DC fan, which again, this is why I've been telling people they have to market to the general audience, because the comic book audience represents not that large of an audience for them to make the money they want. They want the general audience.
If I had to give you a statistic, hardcore comic fans or those who actually know the source material, you're looking at a 5 to 10% ratio at best.
Particularly people who know who the Creature Commandos are. So let's be clear on that. That's like a 0.5% of the comic book audience.
Even the Guardians of the Galaxy had a stronger IP before
and
the MCU
Tevia,
the Commandos.
Technically, she has come back. Spider-Verse.
Like,
I'm watching. I'm watching.
I'm gonna be. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
James Gunn idea to do a Superman, but have it be like Christopher Reeve-esque that's not actually a bad idea. Like, in terms of general audiences, like Superman, but try and harken back to the Reeve era, but modern. That's actually a good idea. Like, I will give him credit. That is actually a good idea.
I will say this. James Gunn had an interaction with a fan on Twitter, and the fan says, hey, as you can clearly see, the suit with the Superman suit, you should have the trunks on there because it just works great. And then James Gunn said, well, when you're looking at like 4,000 different variations of the costume for like costume design, it's not as simple as you think it is.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I'm like, okay, I will agree with you on this. I will agree with James Gunn on this. And then ever since James Gunn's Justice League and the Snyder Cut of Sad movie came out, he has been seen as a rotten person to the core. Well, it wasn't just that. It wasn't that because, it makes sense that eventually the Justice League would show up. It's like, let me put it this way. He wanted to have the entire Snyder Cut cast there. It's just Warner Brothers was like, conflicts. No Cyborg. No, Warner Brothers told him, no Cyborg and no Batman.
So, Jared,
they could have had the outlines, Jay Heat. What's the question, Nick?
What if in Superman Legacy 2, it's revealed that off-screen, Superman and Lois had broken up, and Superman Legacy 2, he gets with Wonder Woman?
A pipe dream, but I appreciate your ambition.
A pipe dream,
Nick.
But it depends on when Amazon's when the Paradise Lost show takes place.
But admit it. If they do Super Wonder,
I would look at it. I would look at it and go, "That's a ballsy move," because you're going to piss off the Superman fandom, which is fun, but still. By the way,
singing James Gunn's praises. Admit it.
Not all of it, but if it's still in a crappy movie, I'm going to be pissed. But a question: what about Cyborg Superman plan in this movie?
He's basically bitter from the death of his wife and how Superman wasn't there to save him.
And that's the comic origin. And he's talking about in a Superman, Nick, because it's the exact same thing. He's upset that Superman didn't save him, and then that's it. Question: what about Eradicator and Steel in this movie? How do you feel about their involvement? I like that, and the Justice League being like removed temporarily, it makes sense because otherwise the Justice League would solve this whole issue. So there you go. And then Tim said, I'm still sad that Doom Patrol ended, but good news that the show ended with a good send-off. Yeah, same thing with Superman and Lois. That show's actually getting an ending. They know it's an ending.
I'm surprised Doom Patrol got a season 4 because I thought it ended after season 3, honest to God.
Well, what had happened is that they had released I think a couple of the episodes for the last season, and then they kept them for like a really long time. Has there been any news? Has there been any news about Batman and Wonder Woman? No, not yet. No, not in terms of casting at all. Because that's like long down the line. And I get the feeling that James Gunn wants to like not necessarily go all in on the casting those characters yet, because in case these movies fail, he doesn't want to promise someone they're going to get a role and then just and then just pull the rug out from under them.
Henry Cavill.
Yeah, like Henry Cavill. I was about to say he knows what happened with Henry Cavill.
Why did you say that name?
Fine, roll the clip.
Nah, I'm not going to do that right now. I personally really love Connor Kent in this movie. Yeah, he was good, but yeah. So basically, a backup plan. Yeah, that's what I would say he's doing, because it's like he could. I mean, it's also the fact that those movies, like years down the line, he said we're not going to cast someone unless we have like a story written, and that makes sense. So I'm like, okay, at least you're thinking ahead. But something tells me in the back of his head, he's like, but what if these movies fail and I don't get to do the story? Which, let's be honest,
that's very likely.
Particularly in light of Zaslav shelving the Looney Tunes movie that James Gunn produced and wrote. It's concerning. It actually has some people saying, okay, the DCU is not going to happen, which I think I agree with Nick. I think it's a little too early to say that, but it has Twitter talking about like, oh no. That's why I tell people, when you were like, the DCU is saved, I'm like, wait, Warner Brothers is still going to Warner Brothers.
So you're saying the hierarchy of the DC universe can still change?
Yes, it can. A question of James
I'm
Gunn's
sorry,
DC
that joke
universe
will never not be good.
Tevia says, question, if James Gunn's universe fails and his video game ideas didn't work, does this mean his universe wants... Yeah, 100%.
I'm just going to say this. It's a little too ambitious, because you're incorporating... Now, there's a fine line between subliminal material or synergy and just straight up homework. There is a very fine line. Take the Marvels, for example. Now, I have not personally seen the movie yet.
I haven't seen it yet either.
I make plans to watch that movie. But from what I've seen, from what I've heard, they are really playing damage control.
So far, it's done worse than The Flash.
And the South Park Join the Pandaverse specials isn't doing them any favors.
And you know what's interesting?
Put a chick in her. Make her lame. Make her gay.
to quote,
we're gonna get to
Tevia, to reference the video game thing, that idea got killed the minute Warner Brothers said we're gonna focus on live service games for DC. I'm like, that's dead. That is, watch, he's gonna change his mind again and then say we're not implementing games. I never said that. We're not doing that anymore. No, we're good. The Marvels is better than BVS. Changed my mind. Become a logical fan. Here's how I'll change your mind, MSK. Logical thinking.
Fan.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. By the way, Nick,
hot
nice.
take.
Wow. That is quite a hot take.
But seriously though, MSK is a cool guy. He's just stirring the pot.
Yeah, I love you, MSK. You're cool dude. He's a close friend of mine from YouTube. Will people in Creature Commandos that are doing voice also do live action? Yes, they did like say that when he casts someone for like animation and live action, he wants to do both. Speaking of DC games, how do you feel about David Zaslav? I already said that. That's the biggest mistake.
Wait, quick question for the chat.
Yeah, he's stirring the pot now. He's definitely stirring the pot right about now.
Yeah. Okay, quick question in the chat. Which would you say, if you've actually seen the movie, which is worse, The Marvels or Justice League?
I don't know.
I haven't seen the movie, so I can't weigh on this, but I'm just going to automatically say Justice League.
All right, what would you guys rather do? Get a colonoscopy without anesthetic or go watch The Marvels?
Go watch The Marvels. That's a different type of pain, Nick. I'd rather take the emotional pain.
I was trying to do a joke. I'm not
against that. People. Not highlighting that, but yeah, The Marvels, exactly. Don't plan to watch The Marvels. You have to do so much homework. You have to watch 3 seasons of bad shows. That is true, too. And that's the thing that James Gunn is going to run into. And also, what Gunn also said is that he's going to have animated movies for, like, Superman that also tie into, like, the Superman movies. And I'm like, dude, you know what he is? You know what James Gunn is? He's that dude. Remember growing up, when you would like hang out with your little friends when you're like 10 years old and you'd be like, wouldn't it be cool if we did this and this and this? and then it's actually horrible ideas when you think about it as an adult. Like when my buddy and I were playing Halo, we thought, wouldn't it be cool to have a full auto sniper rifle? And when I think about it, I'm like, that makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah. How has Warner Brothers not learned from past failures? Yeah, exactly. That is the astounding thing, Tevia. How have they not learned from past mistakes? It is nuts. And why do they need all the anime stuff? Because they're trying to compete with Marvel. They're trying to compete with Marvel, and Marvel has all this interconnected stuff, but they don't realize, do people actually like all that interconnected stuff? Because from what I can see, no.
When it works, they do. Like when it connects well. Like, see, that's like the thing about the MCU in like pre-Endgame was like you'd have like a character show up, or like you get a mention here or there. But like even then, each story was largely self-contained, you know.
Yeah,
like for example, in Winter Soldier, it's like when they're seeing the helicarriers, he's like, "Oh, did Stark say something? Oh, he came through here." Like basically, it's like implying that yeah, Stark was here too, and yeah, that's cool, you know.
The early Marvel movies you could watch alone and not watch the other ones and still be able to navigate fairly well. The problem with it is that they started to tie in too much stuff, and it just became like too much because earlier, I think it was Sally Girl, she said that the problem with the Marvels is that you have to do so much homework have to watch 3 bad shows in order to get accumulated on what's going on. That's the problem.
Like, I think with the Marvels, you need to watch WandaVision, Ms. Marvel, and I think Secret Invasion.
And Captain Marvel, and according to the trailers, Avengers Endgame.
Oh, frick off!
Well, that's just a solid trailer for a crappy movie.
And
So,
Brown
that's
Destroyer,
just marketing.
We did see it, and I mean, I'm
not surprised, but it's still a desperate move all around.
It's very desperate, but I'm like, okay.
Oh, you mean the trailer for Going Rogue, A Marvel's End?
Yeah, exactly. That was great. But like personally, for me, I want DC animation being separate. Yes, exactly. You're getting 2 different audiences that way because the audience they're assuming. James Gunn is assuming that the audience for animation and games and movies are the same. They are not. They are 100% not. There's some intersection, but the intersection is not enough to make these projects as successful as David Zaslav wants it to be.
I mean, I would argue the intersection is maybe a little bit wider than you're kind of letting on, but it's still not enough to fully prop up a project.
Yeah, it's not particularly the amount that David Zaslav wants it to be.
Because they need a win. Because Zaslav, I mean, he kind of
need
got
multiple wins, J-Heat. They don't need just one win. They need multiple wins.
He kind of got finessed by Emmerich. I'm not gonna lie, he did.
But let me ask you this: what happens if Aquaman is successful and then the next DCU projects completely bomb?
Wait, like Blue Beetle?
No, I mean like Creature Commandos.
We already know.
No, I mean Creature Commandos, Waller, and Superman. What happens if Aquaman does great, makes close to, if not $1 billion, somehow that happens, and the 3 DCU projects completely crash and burn?
Well,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think Superman Legacy is gonna like straight out bomb. I think at the very least it's gonna be like vastly underperforming because it's Superman.
Yeah, it won't bomb, but it won't be as successful as Zaslav wants it. That's the thing. Zaslav is like Disney back in the day. Because what Disney would do back in the day, they would shut down profitable like arms of Disney if they weren't profitable enough.
But here's the thing. Watch Superman Legacy make less money than Man of Steel before factoring it. Because if that actually happens where it makes less money than Man of Steel before factoring in inflation, like before inflation, because you know that like with BVS with inflation made $1 billion. Yeah, I
calculated
ran
that live on stream. Yes.
Yeah, I ran those numbers for you. So like if it was like before, then like that's not a good look.
I can't wait for all the excuses to come out about, because the gun fans are going to come out in force and like start making excuses about why it underperformed, because they're already saying it doesn't have to be really successful.
So Man of Steel grossed $668 million worldwide, and I just want to say,
is that pre-inflation?
I'm guessing. Also, Warner Brothers wishes they were hitting those numbers now.
Yeah. They would have been happy if The Flash made that. No.
I don't even think The Flash made 300 million. Not gonna lie, I don't have the numbers on me.
Did. I think it was in the 200s. Like I remember, it was very bad to the point where I think The Flash is listed as the biggest box office bomb, one of the largest box office bombs in Warner Brothers history, and they gave the director the Batman franchise for James Gunn.
Why?
I know. And now that I think about it, I don't want Andy doing Batman because,
like, I can understand Warner Brothers giving Greta Gerwig the keys to Warner Brothers because Barbie did like amazing numbers. Like, I can understand investing in Greta Gerwig because she's a proven director now. Like, she actually gave a turn for Warner Brothers. I can understand bending over backwards for Christopher Nolan because he's Christopher Nolan
and Zack Snyder. They should, but okay.
Yeah, they should. Yes.
Continue, Nick.
I think what they were thinking of is that he did produce some popular It movies, but in terms of superhero movies, he's not that. His first superhero movie is a bomb. It's one of the worst bombs in box office history. Blue Beetle was good, Tevia. We're not saying quality. We're saying in terms of money made. Because what you have to understand about Zaslav and what these people don't understand, because like it just has to be identified with the critics. Zaslav doesn't care. He just cares about the almighty greenbacks. He just cares about that money. That's all he cares about.
I will say this. I will say this. Captain Marvel actually exposed critics in their lack of influence when it comes to Rotten Tomatoes. That being said, we all knew Flash was going to be bad. It was redone multiple times. It relied too much on nostalgia.
For 10 years.
10 years. And all you really needed to tell was just Flashpoint as it is, the Amazon Atlantean War, with maybe the actor who played Homelander playing Eobard.
And guess what?
That was it.
That ends with a reboot. With an actual reboot. The movie didn't reboot anything, even though it was marketed by James Gunn as doing so. And I'm like, no, it didn't.
No, DCEU Barry Allen or Ezra Miller's Flash just gets displaced in the multiverse and a very atrocious CGI cameos. Like seriously, this whole scene was in poor taste. But that it was not conclusive at all.
Yeah, exactly. But and that's the thing. It's humorous that the more times that DC tries to, it's like. What's kind of funny, when I think of the whole DCU and DCEU situation, you know what it keeps reminding me of? Zack Snyder on a throne acting like Thanos going, you tried so hard to avoid the inevitable, but it just brought you right back to me.
You couldn't accept your own failure.
Actually, yeah, that actually works. Isn't that funny? Yeah, Nick Cage's Superman confused me.
I believe that was from Justice League Mortal. If I remember.
No, that wasn't. No, he was going to be in Superman Lives.
Oh, okay.
Where he fights the giant spider.
Now, that's just stupid.
And his security guards at the Fortress of Solitude are polar bears.
Well, yeah, that's like the whole like because anyone who knows like the John Peoples thing where it's like I wanted to fight a polar bear, like that's why I think it's like either Man of Steel or BVS. While you see like the polar bear,
Man of Steel.
That's what it's referencing. Also, like you notice how like in the Flash, he fights a giant spider. That's also a reference to like because you know like the famous Kevin Smith story. I want to fight a giant spider in the third act.
And Tevye says, question, do you think James Gunn will have Wally West in the Flash? That would be smart because it would separate it from the DCU. Brown saying, I think Flash bombed that badly because Ezra. Otherwise, no. Even if Ezra was a saint, that would not have done that well because of the CGI. Story. No.
Amber Heard and Ezra Miller are two completely different situations.
It didn't help, but it would not have saved that movie if with the Ezra situation. Cage said he didn't even know what he shot for the film. Yeah, exactly. Which in the kitchen confused me because I thought that was almost I forgot. Yeah, a lot of people forgot that was almost a thing. And Jay Heat says Paul Dini and Bruce Timm for the DCU. Half of those are right. Half of that is correct. Do not want.
Can we please stop with the Bruce Timm hate? Like, okay, I agree.
No, because he's gonna put creepy people together. I'm not interested.
Okay, here's the thing.
Let him cook. Let him cook. Nick.
I agree. His taste in pairings is not good, but everything else he does is actually pretty good. Okay, so
objectifying what Wonder Woman with the atom in between her boobs. In fact, it's kind of funny that video is still doing well. By the way,
well, good.
It's at 914 views.
Oh dear God! Oh dear God! I think our friend Kat like would have some words.
Hey Britt, let me ask you this. You can express this better than I can in the chat. Explain to me why Bruce Timm is not the best choice for the DC movie.
I'm saying if you can rein him in, like he is actually a good creator. He just has bad tendencies.
The problem is no one's going to rein him in because he's Bruce Timm. I don't trust anyone to do that.
I don't know who. Paul Dini.
Just put Paul Dini in charge then in that case. It was just going to be Paul Dini behind the whole thing. Just take Paul Dini. I'll be fine with that because he was in charge of the Arkham trilogy.
I would argue like Bruce Timm does not have enough cultural cachet or enough influence to really have his way unchecked like he did with. So if he has creative input, they're not going to let him do some of his more extreme stuff.
Come on, Nick. Come on, Jared. That's a fair argument. Come on.
I would, but I don't trust Warner Brothers because Warner Brothers would say, "Oh, he did the DC animated universe. Put him in charge completely. You can do whatever you want."
Okay. Let's just at least come to this. Okay, would you agree that if for some reason they reined in Bruce Timm to where they didn't do his bad stuff, you would actually like to see him work on a project?
Yes. If they rein him in, I don't trust Warner Brothers to rein.
All right.
To give you an idea, Warner Brothers is
one at a time, gentlemen.
Warner Brothers is the media company I trust the least, and that says a lot because Disney is on that list.
I just wanted to at least kind of get some common ground.
Yes, if you rein him in, that's fine. It's because Bruce Timm is like David Goyer. If you rein him in, he's fantastic. If you don't, you get some really questionable decisions.
And a quick counter argument, Brown Destroyer.
You got to realize David Goyer is the same person who wrote both Dark Knight and Blade Trinity. Like literally, it's the same person.
And by the way, Britt says it's simple. Being a Batman fan more than anything, he doesn't exactly care for other characters except especially Wonder Woman. Superman will be basic post-crisis in the worst way. Yeah, because he and the entire creative team was like, we think Wonder Woman's a one-directional character. Have you read the comics?
Like, I'm telling you, it would be a dream to have Bruce Timm do a cover for Screecher. Like,
yes, he's a fantastic artist. I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying I do not trust him to be in charge of the movie projects.
Imagine if you get a Bruce Timm Screecher cover. Like, dear God.
That'd be cool. What about Greg Rice? No, because here's why. Here's the way it would work. And Jay Heat and Nick, you can back me up on this. It would start off pretty good, and then all of a sudden it would become too political. Because look at what happened with the last season of Young Justice. It started off great, and then he started getting too much into politics, and then
yeah, like Greg Weisman is undoubtedly a genius creator.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is he's kind of swallowed the modern politics pill a little bit too much.
And well, let me put it this way: if they can rein him in, great. A lot of creators, if you can rein them in, that'd be great. The problem with Warner Brothers is
you want. Okay, go ahead, Jared.
The problem with Warner Brothers, they are too lazy to warn in these creators. I saw this because that's why I'm like, why are you giving James Gunn total control of creative control of the DCU instead of putting a creative committee together of different filmmakers and directors? Because when that was part of the plan, I was like, okay, this is actually a step in the right direction. But you put one person in charge again.
Okay.
And Tevye, I'm going to go ahead.
I need to do this joke.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Jared, what you're saying is they should rein in these Supermen.
Not your best work, Nick. But I
Okay,
appreciate the attempt.
Come on,
and
that was a good one.
Tevia, I keep telling you this. Just because you don't like it, just because you enjoy something doesn't mean the general audience liked it. The audience that liked it is not enough to keep the show going.
I will give you this, Tevye. I will give you this. The original commission for the revival, the original greenlit, was supposed to be seasons 3, 4, and 5, 3 seasons. But with DC Universe being reshuffled as a strictly streaming comics service, the rise of HBO Max, and the downgrade of season 4, objectively, in general, it just wasn't hitting enough numbers.
Now,
that's just the reality of it.
I'm going to say this. I'm not in charge of any creative being.
Oh, no, not Grant Morrison.
Wait. Jay, let me finish. Number one, I want to be clear. No one should have total control. It should be a committee of people, both from comics and movies, that are in charge. In terms of Grant Morrison, these movies will get very weird. Very weird. If you want to get it, you will not be able to understand. It'll be like Interstellar, but very hard to understand.
Okay. Think of it like this. Imagine the most complex episode you've seen of Rick and Morty, but dragged out for 3 hours. You're not going to know what the heck is going on.
Exactly. He can be on the committee because, again, I would love for him to be involved in a Justice League movie.
Just not Final Crisis. Because
No,
I don't think they even remember that story.
The audience will come out and going, "What the hell was that? Did Superman just sing him to death?" And Bendis should be banned.
Wait.
Bendis should be banned.
Wait, are you saying the Maestro is going to be the villain for Superman Legacy?
And by the way, Britt says Morrison seems to be a writer for Brave and the Bold. Okay, in terms of Batman, that's actually not a bad choice because he invented Damian, well, this version of Damian, and was behind the story that they're referencing. So that would actually make sense for him to be in the Music Meister. Nice. But that would actually work really well. I'd be more like, now let me ask you this. I'm going to go around and chat. You can participate in this game too. And I'll start with Nick. And if you could pick 5, we'll do 6. 6 creators, 3 from movies and 3 from comics, to be on a committee to oversee DC films, who would they be? Nick, start.
Okay, so 3 from comics, 3 from films. Okay.
So just so it's equal.
All right, so from comics, I want Marv Wolfman.
Okay.
Okay. Todd McFarlane.
That's honestly a pretty that.
I'll give you that.
That'd be a good one. Okay, I'll give you that one.
I'm because I could easily have it be just like 3 writers. I want to say actually no. I'm replacing Marv with Chuck because I feel like because Marv is a little bit older and I feel like Chuck still has more of a finger on the pulse.
Okay, that works. Eric July.
Well,
would that be great?
I think he'd do it if given the chance.
He'd do it. So we might as well just put Eric July and Ethan Van Sciver.
I saw him on the Justice League. Anyone?
Yeah.
I saw him on the Justice League.
So who were your?
Okay. Oh wait. I got a question for you. What do you think would happen if Yaira and Wonder Woman met?
They'd be best friends. But back to the question, Nick.
Okay. Jim Lee.
There you go.
That's fair. Okay, I'll give you that.
Okay,
now
and then,
movies.
Christopher Nolan.
Yes.
I know. I feel like I have to pick Zack Snyder. Like if I don't, you'll. Let's see. So Christopher Nolan. I'm trying to think here. Andy Muschietti.
What?
And Jeff Johns.
Not a bad list.
By the way, that was
4. I said 3 and 3. You have to pick 3 and 3.
Okay, fine. James Gunn, Andy Muschietti, and Kathleen Kennedy.
Okay, so I'm
get
gonna
him out. Get him out
because Nick is not allowed to pick a committee.
Okay. Let me do my actual one.
Last chance, Nick.
Okay. Christopher Nolan, Zack Snyder, and Robert Rodriguez.
Not bad. For me, I'm gonna start with movies. Chris, Zach, and Matt Reeves.
It's like
there you go.
It's like we kind of have to put Zack Snyder on that list
because we all want that. But if Matt Reeves, I'm putting on there because I'm picking the creatives that have created the 3 most popular iterations of DC in the 2000s.
I'm gonna disagree with you there because while I like the Batman, I feel like Matt Reeves is incredibly overrated. Yeah, the Batman was good, but it wasn't earth shattering.
Rein him in though. Again, rein him in. In terms of comics, if I'm gonna go heavy into Green Lantern, I'm sorry, I gotta put Jeff Johns on there if he would come back.
Why?
Because Green Lantern.
If you want to put Jeff on the comic side,
yes. I gotta pick Jim Lee and I gotta pick Grant.
That's fair. Can we have honorable mentions?
Go with that. An honorable mention, Scott Snyder for comics. An honorable mention for movies, I would say the Russo brothers.
Tim.
Yeah,
go ahead. My honorable mentions for movies is Tim Burton.
Okay, yeah. I can go with that.
Okay.
And for comics, Marv Wolfman.
Okay. Jahid, how about you? So 3 and 3, and you can have one honorable mention of each.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get my honorable mentions out the way. My honorable mentions would have to be on the comic side, maybe Grant Morrison. It's not that I don't trust him. It's not that I don't trust him.
You have to rein him in.
You have to rein him in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, comic side, Paul Dini, Jim Lee, and Jeff Johns. I'll go ahead and say
I thought you were going to say Megan Fitzmartin.
What if I wanted Heather Antonos as one of my
first off, her name is pronounced Antos, but no. But who are your movies? Jahid, who are your movies?
Okay, my movies. All right.
Pseudoconic.
Nick, stop. I have to actually get through this. Go.
Okay.
Christopher Nolan.
Of course.
Zack Snyder. I'll go ahead.
Just get that out of the way, brother. You know that's got to be on there.
That is literally the law.
Snyder. And 3 would have to be, I'll say the Russo brothers as well, because why not?
Because I think they could do really well with DC. Like, good Lord. Who's your honorable in terms of the movies again?
My honorable mention for movies. Oh, that's a hard one. My honorable mention for movies. I'm stumped right now. Honorable mention for movies. I really got to think of one because I've seen a lot of good movies, but I've also seen a lot of. In the meantime,
let's go to the audience and see what they would pick. So Brown Destroyer says Grant Morrison, Scott Snyder, Dan. Who's Dan again? Nolan, Zack Snyder, and James Gunn.
Dan Jurgens.
Oh boy. For comics, Peter J. Tomasi, Dan Jurgens, and Jeremy Adams. Okay, so you're picking them purely because of Super Sons, Tevia. And Martin Scorsese, he would not be involved in comic book movies. I'm sorry, he would not pick that. McFarlane, Zack Snyder would.
But I don't think Todd McFarlane should be on the film side because he has done nothing with film. Like comic side,
yeah. In terms of film, no. And by the way, so when I mean comic side, I mean you would have 3 representatives from the comics on the committee that's still overseeing the movies, but it's like from a creative side to say, hey, it should look like this, it should have this tone and stuff because it's with the comics.
So let's kind of spitball like some other people we would put on the committee.
But wait, I just want to get through the other audience members. Brown Sure also says Jeff Johns, Scott Snyder, Grant Morrison. Okay, all these are good. All these are fantastic. Honorable mention the Russo brothers. There you go. And so, what were you gonna say, Nick?
So one other person,
mm-hmm.
John Favreau.
Okay, I can kind of see that.
Yeah, that was going to be my honorable mention as well, John.
Honestly, I can totally see that.
And lastly, Ben Affleck.
Well, yeah.
Definitely Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi's a contender.
Can you imagine Sam Raimi doing a Justice League Dark movie where they tell him just go crazy?
I can see it.
Like, I mean, like, oh no! I got you one better. He does a Swamp Thing movie.
There you go. That's it. That's way better. That is way better.
Yeah.
But if you have Sam Raimi do a Constantine movie,
that could also be good.
Like actually R-rated Hellblazer Constantine, Sam Raimi would be perfect.
Yeah, 100%. And by the way, Britt, if you're her also, drop in who would you put in charge?
Michael Bay.
That would be a movie with a crap ton of explosions. It would be all explosions.
I'll tell you.
It would be Krypton exploding on repeat.
Well, one thing's for sure. Wonder Woman's armor is about to get a lot skimpier.
And you know what's kind of funny? Yeah, she's gonna be super tan, sweaty. There's gonna be dirt on her everywhere. Just imagine her and she'll be cast as Megan Fox.
Please, God,
she's
no. I'm just saying that I could see that happening, but I don't trust Michael Bay since a lot of his stuff is style over substance.
Nothing wrong with that.
Not all of it. Watch his best movie is 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. Watch that.
I would argue Armageddon is legitimately a good movie.
That's a good movie. It's just personally my favorite one is 13 Hours.
Because Armageddon, like you would not think it's a Michael Bay movie just by watching it.
Yeah, and the reason why I say 13 Hours is because he managed to still be Michael Bay, but also be very respectful with a true story where people died.
To be fair, Michael Bay has always had a good relationship with the military.
Yeah, so that kind of made sense.
Yeah.
But and if you see in his movies, the military, for the most part, is pretty realistically portrayed. So I'm like,
okay, this is gonna be kind of weirdly out of left field, but like, imagine it's the 2000s, okay, and you're making a Punisher movie, but it's being directed by Clint Eastwood.
That would be freaking dope.
Because Clint Eastwood was on fire in the 2000s.
He could make a Punisher movie.
2000s era Clint Eastwood would have made a great.
Oh yes. And
by the way,
the first movie's good.
I just gotta say, if you ever watch Gran Torino, it is basically a Punisher movie.
Yeah, Eastwood 100% could do that really well because he's also good at making gunfighting movies. No, I haven't, but he's Eastwood's really good at making gunfighter movies because he could make the Punisher. I already answered that question. I said no. It would because he's really good at making those like sort of semi-westerns. You can kind of take a western tone with the Punisher.
Yeah,
I'm surprised they haven't done an Elseworld story for Marvel, which is what if the Punisher was in like cowboy times.
Actually, you know what I'm thinking? I would like a Batman Elseworld in the Wild West.
Clint Eastwood doing Batman Beyond?
No.
Michael Bay doing Batman Beyond. He could do that.
No. I'm trying to think, like, who would I get to direct Batman Beyond?
That's a good question.
What's the guy's name who did like Dune and Blade Runner?
I was about to say Denis Villeneuve. Yeah, because he isn't he the one who did that Valerian movie?
I believe so. Yes,
because I remember the reason I remember that is because he came out blasting Wonder Woman because that movie did well in his bomb.
Actually, no. Batman Beyond has to be made by Neil Blomkamp.
Yes. 100%. I'm fine with that. I am 100% fine with that. 110%.
It has to be Neil Blomkamp.
Clint Eastwood, Jonah Hex.
Okay, I have a question for you though. Oh, okay, wait, no, never mind. Like,
wait. Brown said, I mean, playing older Batman, not directing.
He's a little bit too old. He's a little bit too old now, but like, if this was like 2000s or even 2010s, I'd say maybe. But like, I mean, it's got to be Michael Keaton. It's got to be.
Yeah, that's really a missed opportunity if they don't.
You know,
either
like, Sorry, go ahead, G.
My first choice definitely would have been Kevin Conroy, but due to his untimely departure, Michael Bay's. I mean,
And by the way,
Michael
I
Keaton.
believe it's a year ago today that he passed away. So a moment of silence for Kevin Conroy. And R.I.P.
By the way, you know what I would have done with the Batman Beyond movie?
What?
So Michael Keaton plays Bruce. Kevin Conroy plays Terry's dad.
Oh, that would have
Hmm.
been cool.
Because like I could see like Kevin Conroy looked at least young enough to be Terry's dad.
Mhm.
And like he's a good actor, so he could do it as a small role. Like that would be so cool, wouldn't it?
That would be cool. I could definitely see that going on. That'd be actually a really good idea, as a matter of fact. Now,
Yeah.
in terms of what I could also see like Villeneuve making a pretty dope Superman movie.
By the way, Tevia corrected, and like actually, like the Fifth Element director doing Batman Beyond, I could actually see that.
Do you know what I could see? I could see Michael Bay making a pretty dope Batman movie.
If it was based on the Arkhamverse, maybe.
If it was the Arkhamverse, or like a movie where Batman just blows stuff up, or like Red Hood or something like that.
Red Hood, maybe.
Nick, who would you have direct a Nightwing movie?
That's a hard one.
That is a tough one.
By the way, they should have gotten Robert Rodriguez to do the Blue Beetle movie, and that is a crime that I will never forgive.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, that could work.
Which, by the way, the thing is, if they had done that, Antonio Banderas probably would have been the father, and like that would have been awesome.
That would have been awesome. No, he would have been the conspiracy uncle.
No. Danny Trejo would have been.
Danny Trejo's the uncle. Yes, yes. That would have been awesome.
No. Antonio Banderas would have been the villain.
Yes. He would have been Carapace. That would have been great.
Also, like Alexa Vega would show up in there somehow.
Yes, exactly.
I'm sorry,
Michelle
but
Rodriguez would show up.
Oh my god. oh, question for you. If you were to cast Michelle Rodriguez as a DC superhero, who would it be?
Renee Montoya.
Yeah, no, I gotta go stick with that as well.
No, she's Jessica Cruz.
No.
Really?
No. Eliza Gonzalez plays Jessica Cruz.
There we go.
General Courage actor from Avatar playing older Batman. I can't see him playing older Batman. I could see him playing Slade.
I could see him Deathstroke. I could see
you
that.
know what Avatar actor should play the Joker? The guy who played Ozai should voice the Joker in an animated show.
I don't think he's talking about that Avatar.
No, Nick. Jay-Heat, you know what he's saying, right?
I know.
Which,
I'm sorry.
By the way, Nick, here's the problem. That would never work. That would never become iconic. There's no way that would ever become iconic. That's like Kevin Conroy playing Batman. There's no way that would catch on.
Yeah. Like, why would you have Luke Skywalker play the Joker? I mean, seriously.
It'd be funny if it wasn't so pathetic. Oh, what the heck? I'll laugh anyway.
Now, here's the thing. You know what I think could be really cool? An Oracle movie.
I think you would need setup for that.
Where assuming we have setup, it would be like a hacker movie, kind of.
Jenna Malone plays Oracle.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm fine with that.
Yep.
But it's
also
basically a hacker movie.
Timothy Chalamet plays Nightwing.
If they couldn't get the guy from Titans, because I think he did a pretty decent job.
He did good with what he was given. Yeah.
Yeah. I could see either of those two playing Nightwing.
I mean, if we're casting like big name actors, Timothy Chalamet is perfect for Nightwing.
Who would you cast to play Starfire, Nick?
That's a good question.
That's a hard one.
Mae Whitman? I don't know.
And by the way, Nick, real quick, what you think about that? Tevye wants to know, how do you guys feel about the live action Avatar: The Last Airbender on Netflix? Because the trailer came out. I think it looks pretty good.
I'm going to reserve final judgment until I see like the actual clips of it. But so far, everything is encouraging. The visuals look good. The visuals are pretty much as good as we could hope for. And like the look of the characters, they look good, but like I haven't seen like the show, like the acting, but I would say as it stands now, I'm kind of getting hyped.
Which would you,
Nick? How would you feel if everything is good? If everything is like 100% to the show, but they pronounce it Ong?
I will burn down Netflix headquarters.
disclaimer,
Allegedly.
he does not mean that.
Allegedly.
Trailers can be deceiving because you've been burned before, like with The Flash.
That's
The Last
why I'm
Airbender.
being very
Excuse me.
cautious.
Yeah, but
wait, which was the bigger abomination, the Last Airbender or Dragon Ball Evolution?
that's a good
Dragon
question.
Ball Evolution.
Dragon Ball, yeah.
Because at least Avatar did an honest attempt at covering the story. It was at least somewhat faithful. Dragon Ball was like, frick you.
I love with Dragon Ball, the honest trailer, that they basically said he was making like farts come out of his hand the entire time to like take out the candles.
Like we can disagree with like the choices. M. Night Shyamalan, but he was at least trying to adapt it. Like we can at least with Dragon Ball, they weren't even trying.
And Britt actually has a pretty decent pick for her movies: George Lucas, Guillermo del Toro, Christopher Nolan, and Zack Snyder.
Nice.
That's a solid lineup.
Imagine if they did a Doom Patrol movie directed by Del Toro.
And how about a Green Lantern movie directed by George Lucas?
Well, that's not because here's the thing with George Lucas, he's a great ideas guy, but his dialogue.
Rein him in. No. Have a writer actually write the movie and the dialogue. Have him direct it.
I got
2
you
words.
one better.
Prequel trilogy.
I got you one better. A Green Lantern movie directed by Ron Howard.
I could see that.
I could see that. The actress who played Arrow's daughter could play Starfire. Oh, you mean I know who that is. I'll bring it up. I can't.
Don't know.
I no. See,
actually, the actress for Courtney Whitmore could play Starfire. Like
you mean Breck Bessinger? Yeah, I could see that. I could kind of see that.
Stargirl, like because Stargirl, it's like a personality, like because whatever actress is gonna play Starfire is gonna be painted orange and put on a wig, so looks are not as much important as like performance.
Well, remember that's what we thought they were gonna do, and then the last time they did a live action Starfire, we got Titans, which was not bad when you actually gave it a chance.
I would argue, while I still don't like Starfire is not a black woman, I feel like Anna Diop, all things considered, did a good job with the role.
If they had painted her orange, it would have been like, okay, fine. I'm fine with that.
But speaking from a purely acting and performance perspective, I think she did a pretty good job.
Yeah,
I
do like
from an acting perspective, she embodied Starfire.
I do like they at least went the mile to make it where she at least uses her power. She turns orange. So at least they tried that.
Because, and at least from the 2nd season onward, they actually gave her a proper costume. Because my God, her season 1 costume is like terrible.
It's not a costume. And she was good as Stargirl. I could definitely see Breck playing Starfire. Titans did butcher Tim Drake. Yes.
Yeah, I'd argue the Bernard romance was worse because in Titans, Tim is like right at 17 years old. Like arguably that's worse.
And that was purely done because Fitzmartin wanted to somehow try and put Tim with a Superboy. I'm talking about in the comics. And
Connor.
Luckily, she was kicked off the book too fast for her to do that.
Well, the Titans version of Wonder Girl was amazing, and the Raven. The Raven was great.
Okay, the Titans version of Wonder Girl was great up until the point they killed her with electricity.
Yeah.
At least they brought her back. And yes, I will say, if they ever made like a Wonder Woman, Wonder Girl movie, it would be Gal Gadot, and I think her name is Connor Leslie or something like that. I would love for her to play Wonder Girl. Also,
the Titans version of Raven, that actress was amazing.
Yes, yes. The other actors were the actors were actually pretty decently cast as their roles. It's just except for Jason Todd. Except for Jason Todd.
I don't know. I thought he was fine. The problem I had with also Brown Destroyer, yes.
Yeah, I can see that.
Shameless though.
Fiona.
Let me see. Fiona from
looks wise, yeah. But like the as far as Beast Boy is concerned, I have no problem with the actor.
Yeah.
Really the thing that let him down was the budget. Like they didn't have the budget to properly do his character. Like they basically turned him into like a mini Robin.
Yeah, and then in the last season they had him travel throughout the multiverse, which it was kind of cool when Grant Morrison cameoed on the show.
I mean, that's
I'll
fine
take
because
that.
like they're doing the red, but like first off, he should be green, and like he needed to transform into animals more, but like obviously that's really expensive, you know. I just so like, but the actor himself was fine. He was great in the role. It's just the budget let him down.
And Tabby asked, any opinions on Hawk and Dove on Titans? I love them. They were great.
Yeah. Ian Michael Bridson was kind of too good for the show, and I mean that as in like he was too good of an actor for the show. And,
yeah, he was fantastic. He's good as Reacher.
I will say, the actors for Dove, I want her to be my wife. Like I'm serious. I want.
How great would that be, Nick, if she played an older Screecher in the movies? Like if you like to do like in the future story, and she plays Screecher, and she just brings the suit from Titans.
Well,
it's a reskin, but I don't think he'd care.
Well, she can bring that to my house if you want.
But by the
PG, way, Nick, PG.
She could be showing up there for like for like marketing for Screecher. You don't know why he's inviting her to his house.
I mean, I literally like the Screecher cape is from Dove from Titans. Like I literally just took the Dove cape wholesale from Titans. So like, you know,
I will say one of my favorite lines that Hawk says in the show is when they find out that Deathstroke killed Aqualad, and then they're like panning throughout each of the members, and Hawk goes, "We're gonna hunt this effer down," and I'm like, just the way Richardson says it, I'm like, he sounds like he's about to commit a murder, and that's a good thing.
Also, I will defend the Jason Todd actor. Like his the season 3, like I think that was kind of a little bit lacking, but I think that was more the writing.
When he was Robin, he was fine. It's just the Red Hood part was like, what?
No, I think that was more the writing. Like my favorite, like I gotta say, my favorite moment with Jason Todd is in season 2 when Slade's daughter Rose reveals, like you can literally see his heart breaking, like the acting he does, like with his eyes and the way he reacts. It's like, God dang, bro.
That's another great casting choice. The guy for Deathstroke was great.
I'm gonna disagree. He was very, very underwhelming. Like I'm sorry, but like he was not that intimidating. Like Mal Bennett. Like, okay, here's my tier list.
Bennett was a better Deathstroke. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my so there's only 2 actors who have properly portrayed Deathstroke. You have Joe Manganiello, and then Mal Bennett is like a very, very close number 2.
Was it saying that we think Joe Manganiello is like one of the best portrayals of Deathstroke, but we didn't get that much of him?
Now, the one who played the actor who played Slade in Teen Titans 03, I thought he was pretty good.
Oh yeah, he was. But we're talking about but we're talking about live action. If you wanted to go into that, I would just go with, of course, the OG is the best.
Yeah. Ron Perlman was great as Slade. Yeah, I'm not taking that away.
Slade, not Deathstroke. But yes, DCEU was great. And particularly, how great would it be if like they cast like Tobey Maguire in some role in the DCEU that has him fight Deathstroke, and then they do that line where they go, "I don't want to fight you, Slade." Yeah, I wouldn't want to fight me either.
Oh my God. Okay.
Funny.
What?
Okay, he plays Dick Grayson.
Nah, he's too old.
Okay. Tom Holland as Dick Grayson.
No.
Actually,
I can see him as Tim Drake though.
Well, here's the thing. if you actually look at like Tom Holland's other roles where he's not Spider-Man, he's actually a pretty good actor.
Yeah, we're not saying play him as Spider-Man because obviously, if we were to go to Spider-Man route, he would be a better Tim Drake. But if we're going like straight Tom Holland acting, I agree with Nick. He could play a good Nightwing.
Yeah, like I don't think his role in Uncharted is the best example because he's basically just playing Spider-Man light. But even there, you can see the Dick Grayson kind of like, yeah, he could probably like. I think Tom Holland is a good enough actor to where like, because the thing is, Dick Grayson is a funny guy. Like he does the quips. You know, like I can see Tom Holland being like the humorous Dick Grayson. Like obviously he wouldn't be Spider-Man funny, but I think he can do it.
Let me ask you guys this:
he can pull it off.
I'm going to give you an actor, and you have to give me a role. You ready? Mark Wahlberg.
That's a hard one. That is a hard one. Not gonna lie, that is a hard one. Mark Wahlberg. Martian Manhunter.
No.
I'm thinking.
Booster Gold.
Too easy. You might as well give that to Chris Pratt.
No, not Booster Gold. Harvey Bullock.
No. He could do it.
Actually.
He could do it, but he would basically be playing himself.
Well,
Guy
actually,
Gardner.
he would. Well, the thing is, if you have Mark, he'd basically be playing his character from The Departed, which is not that bad of an idea.
Not bad.
Wildcat's a good one. Not gonna lie, Wildcat.
Okay, Mark Wahlberg is Wildcat. Yes, I do enjoy it.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm fine with that. Who would
Next
you
actor?
guys play? Let me see. Let me see if I can find a really hard one. How about Ms. Martian?
Wait, I thought we were talking actors.
Actors
to character. Yeah. Let me see. Let me think of a. Yeah, that's a good point. Let me think of a really hard one. Henry Cavill. You'll never pick one for Henry Cavill.
By the way, as far as Ms. Martian, Kieran Shipka.
Who did
Sabrina.
she play?
Some Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Can you pick something that people?
Wait, Sabrina the Teenage Witch? What are you talking about?
No, the Netflix series Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Either
Can
that
you
or
pick someone that people have heard of.
McKenna Grace, you butt wipe.
Actually, yes, that I could see. But in terms of so let me give you let me think of a really tough act. Fassbender.
Chloe Grace Martinez as Spoiler.
Yes, and Michael Fassbender.
I could see him playing Martian. No.
Yes, I was about to say I could actually see him playing John Jones.
No. Lex Luthor.
Yes.
It's a challenge, but he can pull it off.
No. Look at how he plays Magneto, except make him less sympathetic. He could do it.
Also, if you ever seen him in Jobs, if you watch him in Jobs, he could play Lex Luthor.
Tom Cruise Green Lantern. Who would Tom Cruise play besides Hal?
I could see either Booster Gold or Guy Gardner.
No. Booster Gold, Booster Gold is I don't know.
Who plays Booster Gold then, Nick? Go ahead.
Nathan Fillion, of course.
Nathan,
that's the obvious choice.
I would have done. Here's what I would do, Nick. Make Nathan Blue Beetle and Chris Pratt Booster Gold.
See, here's the thing. I have a project going on where I'm cloning Nathan Fillion, so I'm gonna have 50,000 Nathan Fillions. So the entire DCEU, it's just gonna be played. Everyone's gonna
so
be
Nathan Fillion as Wonder Woman.
I already have the dress made up for him.
We're so gonna get demonetized.
So Nick is not allowed to cast people anymore.
I actually Brown Destroyer. I
actually,
he can pull it off. He can pull it off.
If they cast him as Batman, you know what's kind of funny? Again, look at how he plays Magneto. He's kind of Batman-like.
Yeah. Speaking of Magneto, who would we cast Ian McKellen with?
Highfather.
No. Okay, yeah. Okay, what about
more, Nick. Thank you, Tevye.
Screw you, Tevye. Okay, but what about the other Xavier? McAvoy. Who would you have McAvoy?
That's an excellent question there.
McAvoy.
Orion.
I was gonna say the father from Doom Patrol, but he's just one Xavier role for another.
Mm-hmm. No, but I'm telling you, Orion.
I don't know.
What about St. Patrick? What about St. Patrick Stewart?
Sir Patrick Stewart, not St. Patrick Stewart. St. Patrick.
That's what I said, sir.
No, you said St. Patrick Stewart.
I agree to disagree.
You actually repeated it twice. Wait, actually, Tavi has a good point. What about Darkseid?
Who did the voice for Spawn in the '90s cartoon?
Keith David.
You owe me a Coke, Jared.
Actually, Keith David, I could see playing Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, that's a better fit. He could pull off Darkseid, but he could.
But in terms of like who I've seen him play and the types of like, because I've seen his voiceover work too, I think he could be a better Martian. Hugh Jackman as Orion, I could.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same appeal.
But Henry Cavill is perpetually Superman. I'm making that a rule.
Okay.
Wait, who would play Lobo?
I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
If Gal Gadot is not playing Wonder Woman, who would you cast as Wonder Woman?
I like that. No, that's a tough one. It has to be someone that has good chemistry with Henry Cavill.
Alexander Daddario?
No, because she has to get into a romance with Henry Cavill.
Alexander Daddario.
No, Daddario's too young. Stop it, Nick.
She's not that young.
You know what? I'm making it a rule. Gal Gadot has to play Wonder Woman. I know what Nick is doing. He's trying to force Daddario into the DCU. I see what you're doing there.
But
we're still going to get demonetized.
No. She can play Batgirl, actually.
Too far, Jared. Too far.
Like, okay, who's playing Zatanna?
Actually, no, she would probably be a better Zatanna.
Thank you.
I will give you that.
Well,
and Tavia, we're talking about DC characters. Yes, I would cast all of the DCEU actors as the Squadron Supreme, but for right now, we're talking about DC.
Squadron Supreme.
Yeah, directed by Zack Snyder.
Dear God.
Marvel is desperate enough to do that right now, so
they probably would. But in terms of like, okay, so let me see. In terms of so I would stick with Daddario playing Zatanna. I think that would work fantastically.
Oh, Gal Gadot is Lady Shiva. Nice.
Actually, yeah, I could kind of see that.
Wait, who would play Constantine?
Actually, I have a question for you. If you were to put Gal Gadot in the MCU, who would you cast her as?
I told you, Power Princess from the Squadron Supreme.
No, if you had to put her in the MCU, who would you cast her as?
Again, Power Princess in the Squadron Supreme. I would put the Squadron Supreme in the MCU and then put Power Princess in there.
Please answer the question. Actually,
how does it feel, a-hole? How does it feel?
Not good, Bob. Not good.
Thank you. Seriously, I would put her as Black Widow.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
Based upon her performance in Heart of Stone, I think she could do that.
Bloody wankers, a whole lot of you.
Or Valkyrie. Because she's pretty much just playing Wonder Woman at that point. Oh, Matt Ryan as Constantine. Yes, he's staying as Constantine. He will perpetually be Constantine.
Well, okay. I have one for you. So, in this new rebooted MCU, Gal Gadot is playing Valkyrie, and Henry Cavill is playing Thor.
Yes.
You know what I'm doing, Jared. You know exactly what I'm doing.
Yes, I know, because they were married at one point.
In the comics.
Jared,
and then,
you know exactly
and then I would have a fan go, Thor and Valkyrie, that's so super wonderful. That's what I would do if I were writing that movie.
Oh my God.
A little on the nose, Jared.
Someone take the typewriter away from Jared, please.
You're the one that wanted to cast Nathan Fillion as Wonder Woman. You should talk.
That was a joke, and you know it.
He wanted to cast Nathan Fillion as everyone. It's recorded in perpetuity.
Jared, I was doing a bit, and you know it.
So
okay, who would play a good Poison Ivy?
That's a good question.
Nathan Fillion.
Green. You're saying Nathan Fillion one more time, I'm putting you in timeout.
What? I can't say Nathan Fillion?
Go stand in the corner, Nick. Go stand in the corner and consider what you have done.
What? You don't like it that I like to invoke Nathan Fillion's name?
Okay, so in terms of for Poison Ivy, Eva Green.
Yeah, no argument.
Yeah. That's like not because she can do the badass femme fatale. And because the thing about Poison Ivy, I could either see Eva Green playing Poison Ivy or Talia.
Actually, she'd make a really good Talia.
Actually, now that I think about it, I'm like, I just pull that on my ass right now, but I'm like, wait a second. She would actually be a really good Talia.
What it? Imagine in the Batman sequel, they actually have her play Talia.
But she's a little. Well, actually, here's the thing: Pattinson's almost 40, so actually that works out pretty well.
No.
So yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Ghostmaker's too recent of a
too
character.
soon. I'm not even gonna. I'm gonna touch the characters that people care about.
Now, Talon, you can pretty
Chloe
much get
Grace
anybody.
Martinez, a spoiler.
Yes. So
Yes.
she's basically a hit girl. There you go. I would
I love
cast.
I love how all of our discussions just evolve into casting.
Aaron Taylor Johnson would become the Flash.
You
didn't see that coming?
I saw it coming.
There you go. And then
actually, no. Grant Gustin is going to become the Flash.
No, he's not.
And then
wait, what about
I'm bringing that one back.
I'm banning him from the DCU.
I'm doing your ban.
I'm the CEO of this company, so I'm keeping the ban. What's up, Jay?
I own the company.
What's up, Jay?
Okay. Who would play Hawk Girl?
Nathan
Jennifer
Fillion.
Hale?
I can see it, but I was going
Jared,
with Shiny.
No.
By the way, wait a second.
Then yes.
Wait a second. So here's the thing. I gave Reign of the Superman a 7 out of 10. I have to give it an 8 out of 10 because Jennifer Hale plays Martha Kent, and I have to give it that 1 point bump up because Jennifer Hale's in the movie. It automatically gets a Hale point, so it's now an 8 out of 10.
So, Jared, how would you feel if you're meeting with a company because they're gonna do an animated Athena Power Princess movie,
and Jennifer Hale plays Athena? I could see that. I could 100% see that.
You're in the meeting about casting, you say, "What about Jennifer Hale?" And you're like, "Actually, yeah, we probably."
And Tevia, again, I'm talking about characters people care about, not Punchline, and certainly not Naomi.
That show was not good, Tevia. That show was not good.
How would you feel if Jennifer Hale voiced Athena?
I told you, I would be 100% in favor of that.
Wait, who would play Black Canary?
That's a question. That's a good question. You need someone tough. You need someone that you kind of need someone that could fight.
What about Ashley Vikander?
Gina Carano?
Actually, yeah, I could see that.
Thing is, Gina Carano is an okay actress at best.
Big Barda, perpetually playing Big Barda.
Yeah, I can see that.
Who is
Phoebe Tonkin is?
Hmm?
Phoebe Tonkin is Poison Ivy. Brown Destroyer's comment.
Who's Phoebe Tonkin?
Hold on, let me look this up.
I got one. Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
No, Phoebe Waller-Bridge. She's playing the week-old dried crap on the streets of Gotham.
Nice. Who would play Black Lightning and Static Shock? Okay,
I can see it.
Michael B.
Phoebe
Jordan
Tonkin, I can see it.
as Black Lightning.
No, I want Michael Jai White.
Okay, I could see that. How about
who would play Static
Michael
Shock?
B. Jordan? Hang on, Michael B. Jordan as Static.
A little old, but I could see it.
No, yeah, I'm sorry, too old. But what about the dude from Stranger Things?
Actually, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, he's at the right age.
Also, he would make a good Miles. I'm going to be honest with you. If they actually do, he's perfect for Miles.
And by the way, Tevia says, how about Keanu Reeves as Brainiac? Yeah.
It's pull-offable. He has the range.
Actually, no. Keanu Reeves is Dr. Fate.
No, I would keep James Bond playing Dr. Fate. I would keep that.
That was amazing.
That was the best part of Black Adam.
Okay, who plays Rick Flag?
I could keep Joel. I think he did a fantastic job as Rick Flag.
Okay, and we're recasting Harley Quinn because I want to have a discussion.
Okay, that's fine.
So while Margot Robbie is a great Harley Quinn,
Amber Heard. You need someone crazy.
Jared, just get the frick out of here.
We don't need a lawsuit with her crapping the bed every 5 minutes.
But in terms of actually casting Harley Quinn.
Oh, by the way, Johnny Depp is going to be playing Pirate Batman. And by Pirate Batman, he's literally just wearing the Jack Sparrow suit with like a Batman mask on.
That would be hilarious. He like has that Batman thing there, and he tries to walk like Batman, and he the license plate for the Batmobile is Black Pearl.
I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry.
Let's see. For Harley Quinn, that is an excellent question. Megan Fox?
No. After her Mortal Kombat portrayal, no.
Okay. Nathan Fillion? I'm pulling a Nick right about now.
I mean, I respect it. Okay.
That's a really tough one to pick.
Okay. I think we agreed that like Batista should do Bane.
Yes, 100%. 100%, I'm fine with that. Who would you put? Would you keep Will Smith as Deadshot?
I'm sorry, I've lost that respect for him.
I agree. In terms of Deadshot, I could pick Joel Kinnaman as Deadshot.
Who's Joel Kinnaman again?
He plays Rick Flag.
Okay. What about Timothy Olyphant?
I could see that too.
I mean, Cobb Vanth.
Now, okay, Jay, we're about to wrap up anyway. Who would you cast as Steve Trevor? It has to be the most useless actor ever to match the character.
Amber Heard.
No. The main girl from the Babysitter movie should play Harley Quinn. Is that?
I can see it.
By Babysitter movie, are you talking about the one with Vin Diesel where he's a Navy SEAL?
I think that is the one Brown's
Fun fact: the older boy from no, I think he means Amelia Allen Lind.
By the way, some of the girls from Cobra Kai, like Mary Mauser, who plays Samantha LaRusso, and like the Tory girl, I could definitely see them being DCU characters.
If we were to go in that direction, let's explore that. Because if I were to cast them, honestly, Tori could play a pretty good young Black Canary, honestly. And Tevia, we're not casting the Super Sons.
By the way, the actress for Tori, Huntress.
Yes.
I think she would make a great
Helena Wayne Huntress.
Or Helena Bertinelli. By the way,
maybe.
So if I ever get a hold of the DCU canon, here's what I'm going to do.
Oh, no.
Basically, what I'm going to do is Helena was put up for adoption, and she was adopted by the Bertinellis. You know who her real mother is? Selena Kyle.
Yeah. And by the way, Jay, have a good one, brother.
Same.
Like, yeah, that's what I would do to Helena Bertinelli. Basically, combine both of her origins to where she is both Helena Wayne and Helena Bertinelli.
I could see that, honestly. That's actually a great way to, like, have her be the best versions of Huntress, but not have to deal with the multiverse BS.
Plus, it just makes sense. Like, okay, Catwoman gets pregnant, and she puts the child up for adoption, never tells Bruce. It makes perfect sense. Like, it's totally
by the way,
Catwoman do.
I could see all of the Cobra Kai kids being Young Justice characters.
Oh.
That's it, dude. Because I could see Samantha LaRusso playing Miss Martian.
Yeah, also the guy who plays Robbie is Superboy.
I was about to say either that or Nightwing, but yeah, I could see him playing Superboy.
The guy who plays Eli is Nightwing.
Yeah, and the guy and you see.
Though I will say Robbie would make a good Nightwing. He would make excellent. I just want to say that.
Yeah, and I don't know, Zolo. I don't know. Maybe he could make a good Blue Beetle. I don't know.
He got shafted. Let's be honest.
Because he was good as Blue Beetle. Give me that. No. No.
What about Bella Thorne as Poison Ivy?
I could see that. Samara Weaving as Harley. Yeah. I answered that, Nick. I agree with you on that
I was
one.
making a joke. It was mostly a pun, but like
Samara Weaving. Let me see Samara. Actually, Samara Weaving as Harley. But she looks like a Margot Robbie clone. I'm going to share screen so you can see this, Nick, because Samara Weaving is basically Margot Robbie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
She looks just like Margot Robbie, so it'd be kind of the exact same thing.
All right, but I have a question for you. Anna Taylor-Joy, where would you put her?
In terms of DC characters, that's a good question.
Oh, she could do Miss Martian, but I think I don't know, she's such a good actress. I want her in something like a little bit bigger.
Cassie Sandsmark.
Who's that?
She's the blonde Wonder Girl.
Possibly. Trying to think here. Well, she could do Black. Could be Black Canary.
Wait, Rose Wilson.
No. Maybe though. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm kind of running out of things.
Yeah, me too. So let's just wrap this up because we could go on for like hours and hours and hours. But Nick,
we really could.
Yeah, we really could. We probably will do that at some point. But so
we never did our casting Cobra Kai stream.
Okay, we'll do that next week. So in terms, this was a great discussion. I enjoyed the movie for the most part. Again, it gets that bump up to an 8 out of 10 because it includes Jennifer Hale as a voice actress. I'm obligated to do that. And in terms of everything else we discussed, literally everything is up in the air in terms of the DCU. Anyone telling you that it's firm and everything is lying. That's what I'm going to leave you with. So, Nick, where can one find you and what have you got coming out on the channel?
Well, right now I'm loved because, Courage is here. So tomorrow I'll be doing Batman Arkham Asylum. Jared will not be there because he's choosing to have a life and actually do stuff with his family and be a productive citizen for once. So it'll just be me, Nix, and Teladius. So it'll be pretty cool. They got Avatar, Comics Watch, and lots of good stuff coming up.
Yeah, and then in terms of, for me, again, Britt and I are going to be exposing the lies of DC Rebirth. We're going to be exposing it for the nostalgia trip that it was, the failed nostalgia trip. And then holy crap, you guys have really taken this week's Justice League rewatch and made that one explode because it is the most popular Justice League rewatch episode I have ever done.
That is insane.
Good 914 views.
It's over 900.
Yes, exactly. And in terms of Indie Wednesday, I'm formulating what book I want to do for that. Under Two Capes is still up in the air. What I want to do next week, we'll think about that. Actually, Under Two Capes, we can just make the casting Cobra Kai in Under Two Capes episode. Actually, what? Screw it. It's the Under Two Capes episode next week. In terms of movie night, we're doing Batman Hush. And then in terms of what other things am I going to do? That's pretty much it in terms of Comics League content. Unless, of course, you guys have anything specific you would like me to do. I know I'm behind in answering everyone's comments on the videos. I'm trying to get back in there. I'm getting over a cold right now because otherwise I would have. But don't worry, I will get to that. So on that note, everyone, stay heroic, and we'll be sure to see you in the very next episode. And remember, Nathan Fillion can't play every role in the DCU. Suck it!
God.